It's up, everyone. This is Captain Eon speaking. And today I'm gonna be sharing from specifically verses 77 to 79 on the idea of first walk, then stand in. Today comes as no surprise, was like any other day that I've done this. And the term an upon day came to mind as I was jotting the notes down. And what I mean by today being another upon day is the whole line upon line idea. How from the beginning, God has been carefully constructing me and reconstructing me and deconstructing me in order to reconstruct. All for the purpose of building me into something beautiful for Him, His vessel of honor. And specifically, the idea from yesterday about works versus work to be done. But as God was, giving me these ideas, He helps me to build by helping me to form questions that, through the revelation of the answer, solidifies another layer in me, His building project. So the specific question today, based on yesterday's works versus work to be done, is can the idea that I formed yesterday really be it? If from yesterday God will apply His righteousness to the work my hands find to do, what about my feet? Is there any work to be done with my feet? When I go and work out, I can't just be top heavy working upper body. There has to be a balance, and I've found that the wholeness that God provides is the epitome of balance. So again, this first upon that God is building upon today actually came after my share yesterday. So I concluded that, it's this salvation work. God called me, and I'm doing the work my hands find to do, in the hopes that God will impute His righteousness to it, and it'll be all good. Well, I sat down and listened to an elder brother share. And while he was sharing, he made mention of God's salvation. And this was so timely, because I'll show you how the idea, or hopefully I can do it efficiently and effectively, show you how God built upon my idea that he started yesterday. And all of this was just added layers to what he put on top today. So going back to after I shared, sitting down, and I'm sitting down now with this newfound revelation or understanding of works versus work to be done. And so the idea of salvation comes up, and as he's sharing it, it really solidified when he talked about, and this might not be my elder brother's exact words, but what I gleaned from it and how it became fully formed in me is the fact that, and again, it builds upon when I was talking about him going first. God came, completed the work. It was done. And so when he called me and saved me, the salvation is this one-time thing that is continuous. So when he saved me, filled me with his spirit, I took on his name. Heaven was opened up to me. I could hear his voice through his spirit in my life. Salvation occurred. And yes, he every day is helping me to utilize this gift of salvation to continue. But it was so eye-opening to me because my idea that I just formed about, the work and being careful to do the right things and say the right things, I realized that my idea was a bit skewed when it came to the work that needed to be done. For because God had already saved me, there's nothing I can do to be more saved or stay saved and all that kind of thing. But really now, and it goes back to building upon what he had already given me, the work is maintaining the relationship. Because of course, every good relationship takes work. So it's not, that I have to proverbially buy God flowers and do these gestures. No, we're already in covenant. Salvation has already been granted. It is up to me to maintain the proper distance. Because I tend to drift away and have this long distance relationship when ultimately the work is keeping pace. And from today's treatment, God solidifies that idea with chapter 70, verse 77, when it talks about what this salvation that I have that was wrought through John was a salvation. The knowledge of salvation is how it's described. This knowledge of how to walk properly, how to step correctly, how to find the correct gait, pacing myself, that sort of thing, following his directions. So that was the first upon. The second idea that God built upon today was that of the way. If you followed this, you're probably familiar with how God has formed and built up the proper idea of this Christian walk, walking in the way, being a disciple of the way, that he went first and paved so that I could walk in it. This way is the way of peace. And I'm honest, well, I do my best to, as much as I can, as God allows, to be honest. And it's easier said than done. And when I talk about the way of peace, I'm talking about complete peace, inward and outward, because there can be times where on the outside everything looks peaceful, but inside there is I think it's maelstrom, just a melee of activity. And this is not always the result of outside interference, so to say, but just the internal. And then it goes back again to what my elder brother talked about, that God put this layer in, that a lot of this noise, a lot of this commotion, the unrest, is a result of, and I'll speak it to an existence, this past skewed idea of what it takes to walk in the salvation he's given. It's not these dudes, and I did this and I said this, and maybe I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have did this, and all this stuff. When God is saying, that's not inner peace. That's not the way. So, in a nutshell, as I'm in this leg of the journey, while I have got a extra pep in my step, I'm grateful for these added layers that God has built and is building upon. It's like I've gotten an extra layer of encouragement that says, keep on walking, because this way ends right where Gabriel stands, in the presence of God's perfect peace. To quote Mary, caption this. And now I'll quote Mary. For he who is mighty has done great things for me, and holy is his name. Sir.